Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point. And this is like the fifth recap I have done today, so I'm kind of getting tired, but I wanted to get caught up from the recaps from last week and stay on top of the ones from this week. So we're here to recap Real Housewives of Potomac season 2. Is it season 2? Episode 7, Over the River. So the show opens at one of Monique's 5 homes, or is it 4 homes? I can't keep up, but it's actually their first home, or Chris's home, before he married her, I think is what she said. And she wants to keep the house and use it as a rental property. And Monique says that she is the property manager for all of their properties, but she realizes that it's, very taxing and she needs to bring in some help. So she decides to hire one of her cousins to be her executive assistant to handle some of the responsibilities. So when the guy asks her if he can get a credit limit, or a line of credit, so that I guess when he has to pay for repairs or anything, he doesn't have to bother her. And Monique looked at him like he had lost his doggone mind. So I'm starting to believe that Miss Monique may be a little miserly, and some of her behaviors come across as somebody who may have grew up poor or not having much, and now she's just really trying to hold on to what she's gained through her marriage with Chris, because she never wants to go back to whatever her life was before she met him. So when we see Monique again, her and Chris are going fishing together. And one thing I noticed about Monique is that she is spending so much time trying to prove that her love affair with Chris was sort of like a little Cinderella story, that she's not a gold digger, that they actually met and fell in love and have this genuine love and appreciation for everybody. And then she just goes on and on like they have this perfect marriage. And I'm thinking we wouldn't even question the validity of their love or their marriage if she wasn't always talking about it. And do people really, like, you're out with your husband and y'all going fishing on a relaxing trip and you've been together all these years, and you're still talking about, how lucky you are and how great, your marriage is. So I think maybe she needs to chill out a little bit, or maybe it's because she doesn't really have a storyline. So maybe they need to help her get a storyline. I don't know, but she's kind of fading away. She came onto the show with a big boom and a lot of promise, but now she's kind of like dwindling like that other girl who was on the show last year. Why can I never remember her name? But anyway, that's the way I see Monique's role going if she doesn't hurry up and come up with something for us to be interested in. And then she also said that she would listen to the pastor, and that the pastors were right, that she does need to apologize to Giselle. So she says she is going to do that. And then the other thing I thought was funny about Monique at that lake fishing was that she had on this maxi sundress that was white or like a really light gray. And I'm thinking, like, who goes fishing in a maxi sundress? Then we move on to Karen, and she turns out to be the latest person to come out and reveal that, she had been raped in college, and she shares this information as part of her involvement in a organization that is like the prevention and awareness of victims. I can't remember what the acronym was, but the organization is called PAVE. And so she acknowledges that the person who raped her is now deceased, and that she felt like when this person died that she lost so much of her power, and that I guess she was feeling like maybe she should have came out before the person died. So now they'll never be held accountable for what they did to her. And then she says that she feels like she needs to tell the story because kids today are no longer just dealing with rape, but they're dealing with bullying, and that kids are, starting to commit suicide as a way of coping, with the feelings and the emotions that's bottled up for them. And so she wants people to know that, it's okay to tell your story. There's better options than suicide. So Giselle is such a crap starter. So why is she boosting Robin up to confront Ashley at that restaurant. So we just had a scene with Ashley where she's talking about how, business is picking up, but her staff is so unreliable, and every day somebody's calling in, and how, one day she might be filling in as a waitress, and now on this particular day I think she was filling in as a bartender. But anyway, here comes Giselle and Robin, pull the girl from behind the counter and go over to like a little section where nobody is sitting at, and then they confront her about, dipping into other people's business. And then Robin just sets the tone right off the bat, because she says, stay out her bleeping business, and she has her finger all up in Ashley's face, and Ashley's like, get your finger out my face, and she's like, my finger not in your face, get your finger out my face. If my finger was in your face, it would be over here. And I'm thinking, like, this is so elementary. Ladies, come on, cut it out and be better and do better. And so I just thought, I don't know if Giselle got Robin drunk before she took her up there to that restaurant, but they were so out of line and so out of order for doing that to Ashley. Then I thought it was so funny because Ashley, they were cussing her out and treating her bad in her restaurant, and the customers and employees was looking on. But Ashley said that they were the two green-eyed sisters. And I thought that was so funny. And you have to give it to Ashley. Like, she is not going to back down from them. She doesn't care. And then she turned around and told, I can't remember if she said it to Giselle's face or if she was in the confessional, but she said that Giselle was just upset, and she has a lot of nerve considering that her ex-husband, talking about Jamal Bryant, has illegitimate children all over the congregation. I was just like, okay, Ashley, they gonna catch you in a back alley somewhere, and we ain't gonna know what happened to you. So this was so messy and so wrong on so many levels. And how do you consider yourself to be high, the high echelon in the community of Potomac, which is supposed to be all these, millionaires and everything, but you acting like hood rats? And then I also thought it was funny that Giselle told Ashley that Sharice was going to drag her over the hills and through the woods. I said, y'all, oh my God, it was just too late at night for this kind of foolishness. So Ashley calls her husband, to let him know about the ambush, and then she meets with her mom and her brother to tell them the story. And Ashley says that she is going to Karen's event and may have to fight fire with fire, although she had just said that she was going to apologize to Sharice. So Ashley, don't go there acting the fool at these people event. So speaking of Sharice, here she goes asking her daughter what she thinks about her marriage. So the two of them were at a like a stationery shop, and they were looking for a journal because the Dr. Jeff guy, he's the reality TV psychologist, he told her to start journaling her emotions. And so she takes Skylar with her. And then, I understand that you need to talk to your kids and let your kids know what's going on. But I think that there's just part of the story that I just think she was wrong for asking the daughter, what did she think about the marriage? Because your daughter is not your best friend, is not your close friend. And you're just crossing the boundaries. And then it's almost like Sharice sees her daughter as her only, true friend, which is kind of scary within itself. And so the daughter says that, she has never, that she doesn't feel that she has much to adjust to if they get a divorce, because the dad was never there, so it's no big deal to her. And then Sharice, she starts crying in the store. And I'm just like, girl, come on now. You could have had this conversation if you was going to get emotional back at the house. Don't be out here in public, being all dramatic. So Karen and Giselle, they're doing community service, helping kids plant a community garden. And Karen uses this opportunity to invite Giselle to the PAVE event, where she will be giving her testimony, but she doesn't tell Giselle that she's going to actually be giving this testimony. I think she wants the ladies, to hear it at the same time that, everybody else in the room hears it. So then Giselle, she decides that she is not going to share, that her and Robin ambushed Ashley at at Ashley's place of business, even though Karen, had no problem letting her know that Monique had called her a trick. And then Karen said that although she laughed when Monique said it, that she felt that it was wrong and that Monique was out of line and that Giselle needed to know what was said behind her back. So then we go over to Juan and Robin's, and Robin is sitting there working diligently on this basketball camp that Juan is putting on, and so she's asking him all these questions about, appointments he needs to make, when he's going to get his hair cut and everything. And so Juan, he was in a bad mood that day, and he was like being kind of sharp and short with her, but Robin was acting like, it was no big deal, and she was still smiling and, trying to work on his project, all the while in the confessional, talking about how she know that this situation is so messed up, but she just wants to hang in there and hold on to whatever it is that she's holding on to. And I'm just thinking, Robin, if you don't wake up, like seriously, you need to wake all the way up and stop making excuses for this man and the situation that you have allowed yourself to be in. And then Juan is a low down dirty dog, because after he snaps on her when she's trying to help him, he then goes into another room, and we don't know if he's talking to a man or talking to a woman or talking to himself, but he's in there basically saying that, he feels like he deserves to be in a relationship with somebody who wants to be in a relationship with him, and that the only reason he's still there with Robin is because of his sons, and how if it wasn't for the kids, he would have left a long time ago. And I'm just like, really, in 2017, we stand with people for the kids? Like, come on, y'all need to grow up and get with it. And then I'm like, Juan doesn't even have a job, so maybe he's staying there so that they can live off of this income from this reality show, and then whatever else Robin has going on, because I think she does like some kind of PR or marketing type of work. So Charisse and Robin have lunch with Dr. Jeff, the guy, the reality TV psychologist. And Robin is offended that Charisse is suggesting that she needs therapy, but says that she will play along. And then she also talks about, actually, I think it was earlier in the show when she said that she was offended when Charisse and Giselle confronted her about, the rumors about Juan, and how, she really needs to think about what she's doing. But she respected the fact that they did it in private, whereas Ashley, was in front of everybody when she blurted it out. So once again, her friends are trying to step in and help her realize what a mess her life is. And so she finally admits that Juan's cheating in the past is what's preventing her from moving forward or trying to really rebuild their relationship so that they can eventually get remarried one day. And then she starts crying at the table because she knows that, the life she's living is crazy and that she is wasting her time. Then Dr. Jeff, he basically tells her, that she needs to free herself of all this stuff. And I agree that, mental freedom is a wonderful drug, because when you stop caring about what other people think and you see situations for what they really are, you improve your quality of life 100-fold. So it's the night of the PAVE event, and Ashley is there first, so she's going to be the bigger person and not mess up Karen's night, by being nasty or catty with the other women when they arrive. And of course, Karen has them all, sitting at the same table, and thank goodness that none of them decided to act a fool. But I guess they only do that at events, that each other are putting on, that they don't go and mess up other people's events. So Karen tells her story, and she says that she is counted in the 9 out of 10 people who did not report being raped. And I guess her story, made the women realize just how petty their differences are, and that they all need to chill. Well, chill mode lasted until they were out in the lobby because Ashley tried to talk to Charisse, and Charisse wouldn't even look at her, which was really childish. And so then Giselle becomes the spokeswoman and says that now is not the time and that Ashley needs to move on. And Ashley was like, well, who are you to tell me I need to move on? And then Giselle said, well, it's obvious that she doesn't want to talk to you, so why press the issue? And then Monique jumps in and says, well, I want to talk to you, and, you know, can you give me your phone number so I can call you? And then Giselle, you know, she comes back and says, well, oh, Sharice, did you push her up to say that to me? Are you behind this? And I'm thinking, like, why didn't you just give her the phone number so y'all could move on? But, of course, it turns into bickering back and forth, and Giselle, you know, refuses to give Monique the phone number. And so, well, the apologies didn't go well, and the older women, you know, came off looking really petty. And there you have it for this episode. It really was uneventful and not much. Oh, one thing that was eventful was that Don Lemon was a speaker. He actually spoke before Karen, and he shared that from the age of, was it like 7 to 13? But at some point during his youth, he was molested by the son of his mom's best friend. And so, you know, I've been following Don Lemon. You know, he's like that relative that really gets on your nerves, but you love them because they're your relative. And so I had never heard that story about him. And he actually went to high school with my best friend, Tamala. And so I'm going to have to call Tamala tomorrow and ask her, did she know that he had been molested? Because I know he wrote a book, and I'm sure it was in the book, but I never read the book. But anyway, I thought that was interesting that Don was on the show and he was part of this event, and he shared that story. So that's it for me, guys. As you probably can tell, I'm dragging and I'm tired and I'm sleepy, but I did want to get this recap out. So leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.